Oh, and it looks like it's going live. Let me just check here. I can see us live.
Woohoo!
Let me just turn my volume down. What is going on? You are watching Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we are here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Steve V. This is episode 597, 3 episodes away from 600, alongside my partner in crime, Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful this evening. How are you, babe?
I'm really good. I'm really good. A little later in this show, we are reunited. It didn't happen the first time with Eleni Kouris, who's going to be talking all about the Azores and Glam Azores and why we should make our way over to the Azores Islands, which is a short flight from the East Coast, what her company's all about, and she's going to be talking about advice. And for those that tried to watch us a few weeks ago, we've got it all figured out. We've fixed it all, and we're grateful that she is back. But we are in front of a live audience. I see some of you trickling in. Hello, hello. I see Bryce. I see some of you just keep on coming on in. And first of all, how was your Labor Day?
Labor Day was great. It was relaxing. I didn't labor too much. I did go to the gym and got a really
You
good
went to
picture
the
out of it.
gym?
I did. That was my former labor for Labor Day. And then I went and
It's supposed
had,
to be like the opposite of working.
oh, I'm supposed to relax. Okay, I don't know how to do that.
Got
And then I
it.
went and
Yeah,
had
it's all right.
brunch and had some drinks with friends. Yeah, it was very relaxing. It was a great time. How was your Labor Day?
It was really good. I mentioned on episode 596 that uh, my boyfriend and I, Diego, went to Battle Hymn here in New York City, which
Yeah.
is a fun, clubby, club kid, think New York club kid party that still exists. And uh, we didn't go till about 1:30, which is great because the lines were not happening and it was all great. We had a blast. The
I
music
love
was
Battle
on
Hymn.
point. Eli Escobar was the DJ, and shout out to Eli Escobar because I've been there before where the music's like good, but it was on point. We decided we want to see him wherever he goes. Lady
Ooh.
Fag, who throws the party, was on point. She was serving it, and it was just a really, really awesome night. And then the next day, Labor Day, we slept in and made our way over to Asbury Park, where we
Aw.
just hung out on the boardwalk. We had a fabulous lunch. We went to some outdoor bars that they had there. I ran into some people that I had seen on a river cruise, as well as our upcoming guests met before too, and that was super cool. We're going to get together, and then we made our way to the Palace, which is the bar over at the Empress Hotel, which is the classic LGBTQ plus hotel in the in New Jersey there, and Asbury Park, and had a fabulous time. Saw some amazing drag, and their drag was really cool because it was a combination of men and women and non-binary people doing drag. So
Fun.
very fun. Yeah, we had a great
Oh,
time.
so are you a Jersey boy now? Is Jersey winning you over?
It is a little bit, yeah. In many ways, it is actually. I have to say, yeah, kind of, definitely. Well, over
Right,
the
let's move.
weekend, other people that had a really great weekend was somebody that we talk about on this show, Joel Kim Booster. We just love him on the show, and he got it proposed to his partner over the weekend on Labor Day, John Michael Sustine. And he said this about when they first met. He said when they first met in Puerto Vallarta, and this was several years ago, the pair met through mutual friends, not expecting a long term relationship to come out of their weekend. And they initially claimed that they weren't even in for it for the long run. Here's what they said: we both had very much the vibe of, we know how this weekend will go. You don't have to continue to talk to me. You can find your next conquest. I'm not going to glom onto you. You're not going to glom onto me. And he was very, again, like, this is not going to be a relationship. And I said, that's fine. Meanwhile, I'm talking about him on every podcast that I go on now, years later. And Joel, by the way, Kodi, has been very open about being open in the relationship and hooking up with different guys. But the love is real. And he proposed on one knee to his fiance
Wow.
over the weekend, which I think was very romantic and very cool. And they both work in the industry. One's more of a producer, one's more of an actor, comedian, but they're both like, I don't know, they're power couple in the making, if not already. And I just think it's really cool. And I think the name of the game right now is to be really honest about your relationship. And if you're going to put it out there, you need to be aware that you're an example in one sense, but that you also want to be really honest about your relationship, and you only want to show so much. But what did you think about when you heard Joel Kim Booster proposing to his new fiance?
His fiance. That's so wonderful. It's just amazing. And from what I could tell, Joel Kim Booster is a really awesome guy. And he's just, like you said, he's so honest and he seems so genuine. And I'm sure he's chosen a great partner. I don't know that much about his fiance, but from what I've heard on the podcast that he said, because he does talk about him quite a lot. So I think that he's a good catch. Uh,
Yeah.
Also, to your point, I feel like they are a great example for what an open relationship can actually look like and how you can make it successful. So, communication, communication, communication. And honestly, I think that should be their book, their joint project. They should write a book on how they navigate being in an open relationship. So, I just want 2% of the profits because I definitely gave them the idea.
Well, one of them's a writer and the other one's a producer. So,
That's okay.
yeah.
It's my intellectual property, though, at this moment.
Okay, put it out there. I think what I also love about them is their honesty. Like I said before, I think that, I am in a new relationship, not as long as them at all, but in a newer relationship. I was telling you all offline in our meeting that it's been 10 years since I've been in a relationship.
Wow.
And I think that I share, like today in our promoting of episode 596, I shared a clip that shared with my about my boyfriend, that you really need to know a boyfriend winter, spring, summer, and fall. I've known him for a year and a half. We've got together in the spring. We've had a fabulous spring, an amazing summer, and now we're working our way into fall and winter. And I shared that, and then I said that he might be a part of my adult content. Well, he listen to the whole thing, because I just thought he's probably not going to listen to the tail end of that. He called me later and he had a whole like meme on this, and I'm like, "Did you listen to that tail?" And he's like, "I listened to the tail end of it," and I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Oh no, is he online right now?"
Yes, he
Okay, yeah. Well, we already talked about it prior to the show, thank goodness, and I was like, "Oh
so
no,
funny.
be
I was just
careful
like,
what
oh my
you
God, he's in the room.
say." So funny. But I mean, I do think that's kind of the key to relationships, when you have a little bit of a presence online, whether you're a Joel Kim booster or about the next couple that we're going to talk about in a second, Ben Platt and his new man, or not new man, husband.
That's right.
You 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 almost want to put it out there. You want to keep a little bit to yourself. You want to be an example in some ways, but you also, I don't know, there's like this fine line. But yes, I see more of you joining us. Hello, Duran. Bryce, great communication is listening to understand rather than listening to respond. Talk alone is cheap. Good. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Very
A
good.
lot of
Hi,
times,
James, as well.
what people do is they're thinking about what they're going to say and not really listening to you. So I totally agree with that. You when you're listening to someone, cut off your brain and actually take in what they're actually saying. So thanks for that, Bryce.
Absolutely. And over the weekend, also, well, Joel Kim Booster was proposing. Ben Platt was marrying Noah Galvin here where we live in New York. And apparently it was an extravaganza. It was a Jewish, honoring their Jewish heritage. Both of them have been in theater for so long. In fact, at one point, they played the same character in Dear Evan Hansen, and their wedding was all about musical theater, about dancing, and really, Kodi, making their guests feel like it was about them, not the
Mhm.
wedding couple, but it was a party. It was supposed to be really relaxed. And this is what Ben Platt had to say about what you actually put out there. He says, I take seriously not wanting to exploit or overutilize our relationship and to save some of it for just us. But we both feel really proud and happy that our relationship gets to be some sort of representation and an example, and that we can just be joyful and complex and romantic and have that be something that is meaningful to young people. And I've been following them for a minute, and I just think that's really beautiful too. It's exactly what Joel Kim Booster, I feel, is on the same path. We are now allowing it's represented now that we can actually see our queer community show their love for each other. And now we're actually seeing those nuances that we've always seen from straight celebrities for years and years and years. And now it's really beautiful to see the nuances of how everybody kind of handles their marriage. We're also seeing the divorce, by the way, of everyone, because divorce is now a factor. And I don't want to be
Yeah.
wah wah, but I mean, what did you think of Ben and what he has to say about his new marriage?
Oh, I love this. It's a beautiful story. And they are actually a great representation, but in a different way. I feel like they have, I don't know what their monogamy or open relationship looks like, but however, we do know that uh, Ben broke up with Noah because he was getting cold feet, and and that in and of itself shows is a great example of how you can find love and not necessarily know if it's for you, but if you really love the person and you are willing to make it work, then love is going to win. So I love this, and I'm so glad that they're husbands. And I wish I'd have been invited to the wedding, but that's okay. But I'll still get them a gift. It will be from TJ Maxx, but it'll be beautiful, okay?
Hey, don't knock TJ Maxx.
Don't knock TJ Maxx.
Well, some were getting engaged, others were getting married. A group of gay guys in P Town, Provincetown in Massachusetts, a place I love, and I got to get you there, Kodi,
I need to
were
go.
showing their support for Kamala Harris, the vice president, the hopefully president elect. But well, it was really cool. It prompted some criticism and praise at the same time. What are we talking about? Well, three guys actually decided one of them's a trainer, Kodi Ditto, Cody, not our
Just like me.
own Kodi, but Kodi Ditto
Ditto,
and his
Kodi.
fiancee Denise are both located in Pittsburgh, and they have their best friend Mike. They hit Provincetown over Labor Day, and they decided to show their love for Kamala for November. And what did they wear? They bought these T-shirts, muscle shirts, online because they're all kind of built. Kodi, by the way, is a personal trainer, so he's really built. What did the T-shirt say? Hose for Harris. And here's what they had to say. They said that everybody in P Town really accepted it. They wanted to take pictures with them. I think one of the guys had a crop top version of it. So Kodi, you would be really happy about this because you're a crop top lover. Um,
Got one on now.
yeah, but the minute that Kodi put this up on his Twitter account, or as we're calling it, X, he got some backlash. And this always happens, right? And here's what some people had to say: way to support the idea that all gays are promiscuous, that all gays are somehow continuously brainwashed into believing that the left is on their team. This is truly why a lot of value based gay men and women don't go out or are not in the community. This kind of reminds me a little bit of when we've talked about things on the show, Kodi, and we've showed our support for certain left, organizations here. But it's our opinion. We get to
Yeah.
say this, and we recognize that we are not a monolith. We recognize that not everybody is going to be supporting Kamala Harris, and that's fine. But we get to say our opinion. This is all they were doing. Here's what some other people had to say: just play into every stereotype people think of gay men, because it said hose for Harris. Somebody else said, I'm for Harris, but this is beyond classless and honestly just ghetto. It goes on, but of course, there was some support as well. I mean, do you think it's just an ex Twitter thing that when you put this up on there, it's just you're going to get the hate and nobody knows the nuances and just let people be? Because really, Kodi and his crew were getting a lot of praise in real life to people's
Yeah.
faces. If I saw somebody walking down the street with a Trump for gays, let's just make that up, I would not go up to them. I would say, hey, they have every right. I drive into communities in upstate New York and see Trump flags. I'm not going up to their house and egging their house. They get the right to believe in everything they want to believe in and vote for who they want to. So do you think it's just people in their basement, as they like to say, showing their hate because they can?
Well, first I want to say the Kodis are causing trouble again, and I think, and I'm here for it. I love this shirt. I want one in every color, darling. And I agree with you. I think mainly because it's Twitter, that's where all the trolls reside, especially after Elon took over. So I think that that is the main reason why he was receiving so much hate. And you're totally right. If we saw a person in real life with a Gays for Trump t-shirt on, we wouldn't go up to them. We wouldn't say anything to them. If we saw it online, we would just keep strolling, because that's what people who disagree with each other and has a decent respect for other people, that's what they would do. That we don't necessarily need to respond to everything. And to this person that said a hose for Harris shirt is ghetto. He never probably been to the ghetto. Stay out of the ghetto. Naughty by nature said, because you don't understand what's going on in the ghetto. Okay. I think that it's
Well
completely ridiculous.
stated.
Thank you, darling. I think it's completely ridiculous because this person goes on to say that this isn't the best representation of gay people, but in and of itself, this person is an OnlyFans creators, and he's calling out these people for being stereotypes. And I don't know Glass House. I just know that there is one involved in this story. I'm all here for OnlyFans creators being able to make a living and doing what they need to do. But I do not think that they should be looking down their nose at other people. It's just ridiculous.
Got it.
Nobody should.
Let us know how you weigh in. And I just want to get this topic really quick because recently a whole conversation started on, does size really matter? And a study finds a correlation between negative perception of genitals and mental health issues. Let me just read a little bit. According to a new study in the Scientific Journal of the Aging Male, at least in the eyes of the beholder, the relative novel study, it looked at 75 male participants with an average age of 47 between March and July of 2022 and found a moderate correlation between men's self-perception of their genitalia and their susceptibility to depression and anxiety. I can summarize this in a net, but I would just want to get your, does size really matter? And I think that it doesn't really matter in the end. I think that if you watch porn, yes, of course, but there's certain things that you can change about yourself. You can get Botox, you can go to the gym. It's very rare that you can change the size of your dick. And I think that you need to just really embrace the size that you are. And somebody says, if you're a bottom, it doesn't matter at all. But I mean, really
Wise words.
quickly, I need to hear from you on this. Does size really matter?
In practice, no, it does not matter. But as far as what society says is socially acceptable for a man's penis, and all of the pressures that comes from having to actually have sex and please your partner, I think that that can weigh a lot on a person, and I can understand how people can be depressed because of how they feel other people are perceiving them.
Well stated, as always. I think
I
it's
do
time
my
to bring
thing.
up our special guest. Let's bring her up, Kodi.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
There we go. I think I
Yeah.
just, here we
It's
go. There we go.
hello, hello, hello.
Hi
Welcome.
guys. Hi
Hi,
sweet.
Hello.
darling.
Well, we want to welcome Eleni Kouris to the show. As we said, we had her on before, but thank God I can see you right now. You are live. Everybody can see her. I see yay that the people can actually see you this time. Eleni, I just really quickly, you and I met at the beginning of the summer. We were on a river cruise together in Portugal, and we became fast friends as she became fast friends with many. But I just adored her immediately. So, when you know that connection that you have with somebody. What I learned about Eleni is that she brought her husband on a gay river cruise, didn't tell him until he got on the cruise. She can talk about that if she wants to a little bit later. But more importantly, she has a company in the Azores, which I didn't know about, in the Atlantic. They are the Hawaiian Islands of the Atlantic. She's going to talk about her company, Glam Azores, which is very LGBTQ friendly, very in many ways. And I guess the first question is, do you want to talk about the Azores or why you started Glam Azores, or both?
I think I'll talk about both. Basically, the Azores is these 9 enchanted islands. I live in San Miguel, which is the biggest island or the most populated island. It's not the biggest, it's most populated. It's absolutely beautiful. Very a lot of nature, lakes, waterfalls. It's absolutely gorgeous. Why did I start Glam Azores? I went to an LGBTQ plus conference in Puerto Rico, and I was enchanted. I work in tourism, so I'm a businesswoman, and I'm very gay friendly. I have a gay flag outside my house for 10 years now. So it was a niece that was very interesting for me. And so I went to this conference and I was just amazed at all these intellectuals and how interesting they are and how they work. I was like, wow. So I said, I can do that. Why not? I also realized that people, I don't really understand why the LGBTQ plus is fighting for their rights, or they're trying to have visibility because it's something so natural. That was the confusing part. And sometimes when something is confusing, I try to investigate to understand why. So meeting all these individuals, all these queer people, I came to the conclusion that we're all queer, we're on a scale, but who the hell wants to be normal? Like I would love to be queer. So I decided to do Glam Azores to basically make queer people, when they come on the island, feel more comfortable. So I work with a lot of LGBTQ plus people. If you're not part of the family, you're an ally. Otherwise, you're not working with me. And I'm just bringing out the diversity on the island, showing diverse people when they come on the island what's safe, because apparently not everyone feels safe. That's what I realized,
Yes.
because on the cruise I saw that. I thought it was really strange. Even my husband mentioned that. Even he said, like, everyone feels so friendly and free when they're together, but when they get off the boat, they walk differently, they act differently. I was like, you see, because subconsciously they're afraid of being criticized, of being judged, of being mistreated. He said, and it's really strange because this is 2024 and people are mistreated because of their sexuality, like what they do in their bedroom. It's like, it's
Yeah.
really
Getting
dumb.
over it.
It's really dumb. It's really dumb.
And
Yeah.
Kodi, before you ask your question, I just want to follow up really quickly because I didn't know about the Azores. Why do you think that we haven't heard about the Azores, which is a 4-hour
Because
plane ride from the East Coast? It looks beautiful and magical. It is welcoming to our community. And why is it so spectacular, and why should we come?
Because it's tourism basically started in the last 15 years. So this
Oh,
is fresh, it's new. It's also small. There's not a lot of there's not a huge population. So the support we have is not huge. Flights just started coming in. The ones from the States just recently, the last couple of years. Before we didn't have them. So no one knew about the Azores because there was no flights coming in, only from the mainland. And basically, one of my mottos is finding love in the middle of the Atlantic.
Mm,
Yeah,
wow.
love
it's
That's
that.
amazing.
the
Yeah, I
Azores
wanted.
is
Oh,
absolutely gorgeous. There are so many things, and we get involved. We do glamorous picnics, glamorous dinners with VIPs. No matter what you do, it's going to have glam. It's going to have
love
champagne.
that.
Yeah.
Ooh. So, okay, since we're talking about the glam, what amenities like do you offer for Glam Azores? Because, like you mentioned, the Azores is an immaculate setting, and I just want to know what do you do in order to make it more glam, the wedding?
Okay. So, for example, I had some clients that landed from on a flight. I can't remember from where. And I was at the airport and we were serving them some Bellini and some cookies.
Ooh,
So, yeah. Some other clients came early in the morning, 6 in the morning. They're not going to have Bellini at 6 in the morning. But we had a fruit
Some of
basket
us might.
for them. We had a fruit basket. So, meaning whatever it is, there's a special touch to it. We did picnics. It's not a classic picnic, it's like with glassware and really nice
oh,
plates. And yeah, it's no, and there's a chef there. So, I try to think of something glamorous.
And what I love about it is you curate. So like for me and my boyfriend, he's a huge hiker, but then we both love wine. And can you curate like a nice hike, an adventure moment, but then get
I have
into like a beautiful moment?
Exactly. I have tour guides, and they take you on a special hike, which is not one of the common hikes. And after the end of the hike, you can have a picnic or you can have a photographer and take special, beautiful moments of you. It's like we try to think outside of the box. If we can think of something which is more original, we try to tell people stories. We try to make people feel like they're important. Even those little moments, let's capture them, let's keep them, let's try and be ourselves. Let's try and bring out the beauty of our soul in those moments. And that's what
mhm.
I want to do. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I want. I believe if you can't do a lot of things, it doesn't really matter. But if you can be one thing, be kind. And I think through Glamazores, I'm trying to bring kindness to people. And by being kind and showing them some beautiful things and making them feel special, that will create a chain reaction. And they will, therefore, be kind and make special moments and create other people's lives beautiful.
Oh, that's so gorgeous. I kind of want to talk a little bit about your connection to the LGBTQ plus community. I know that Glam Azores, I think it's open to everybody, correct?
Totally.
Yes, but you want to focus on the LGBTQ plus community. How and why did you come to that conclusion? And what's your connection to our community?
Um, Basically, my motto is gay, fun, follow. So it starts from there.
Hmm.
Then my connection to the community is my girls. I have three daughters. All my daughters have gay friends, and I've met them. So I've met gay people at a very young age where they're so sensitive and so vulnerable, and how intimidated they are and how scared they are, even to say that they're gay. And a lot of times my girls would say to me, my friend is gay, but he doesn't tell people. So they would come, and then those people, or the lesbians or the gay guys, they would feel so comfortable that they'll be themselves. And I was always very like a mother hen, like, why wouldn't you make a child feel comfortable? I did
Yeah.
Pride the first time last year and this year also in the Azores. It's small. Someone did call us names. I was in shock. And also, what shocked me more was the way people look at queer people. I was like, I was telling my friend, and I was like, I felt so uncomfortable, and I'm my age, and I'm an adult woman, and I felt stressed. Imagine a teenager or a young child, and my feeling this pressure from the society, and my friend said, "Well, you just smelt it. You don't live it." I said, "I totally understand."
Mm.
And it's so scary. So that's my connection, understanding that what, like, I don't understand why we make things difficult for our people. And my
Yeah.
connection is, if I can help someone feel nice, why not? That's my motto. And the LGBT community, because me, I, as Eleni, have never been accepted by any society. I've lived in Australia. I was the Greek immigrant child, even though I was born there. I lived in Athens. I was the Australian. I'm living in the Azores. I'm the Greek. So I've never been accepted. So I literally have don't have the experience of being queer, but I have the experience of being
Outsider.
Other.
outcasted,
Other.
trying to prove yourself. And I've noticed that we have a lot of I have a lot of things in common with queer people. They just want to fit in. They just want to be accepted. They just want their tribe to say, "Hey, it's fine. Just be you. You know, don't be judged." So that's where, because it's easier. I think I've seen it. Not I think I've seen it for straight people. It's easier. Society makes it easier, and I don't like that. So that's why. That's my
I love
connection.
it.
It's
I
about
love
human
that.
rights. It's about human rights. It's about, like, maybe tomorrow my grandchildren might be gay or queer or whatever, and hell's gonna pay. You know, they're gonna pay for hell if someone does anything to one of my grandchildren. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
understand? So
You
I
know,
don't understand it. I have never seen a queer person come to a straight person's house and judge them because they're touching hands or because they're having whatever type of sex they're having. It's like, why do you care? Unless, of
yeah.
course, you want to do it and you're just projecting.
Well, there's always
There it
that.
is.
Eleni, I want to ask you, let's break down before we move on some just basic facts about the Azores. So, how far is it? It's islands in,
It's
let's
9
just break up
islands
some
in the
basic
middle of
facts
the
on how to, yeah,
Atlantic. Yeah,
yeah. Go
like,
ahead, start again.
we have the States, we have Europe. The Azores is in the middle. Madeira is lower. It's one of the islands of Portugal, but it's not part of the Azores. The Azores is further up, so that is why it's not so tropical. It's volcanic, except of one island, Santa Maria. It's San Miguel still has active parts of the volcano because we cook special food in it. So it's so green, it's so beautiful. There's
It's
height.
Portuguese owned.
Totally. It's from the 15th century. They brought over the first people. What else can I say about the Azores? That it's absolutely gorgeous as lands. The culture's interesting. The people are really nice. They are gay friendly. Basically, they don't understand a lot of things sometimes, but they're not going to be rude. The person who screamed at us during the Pride, he was a foreigner.
Oh,
So it was
wow.
not even a local. The locals sort of look at you funny because apparently they know me as the society person. And like, what is she doing there? And I was like, yeah, okay.
Well, here's a question that came from a listener, and they asked the question before they knew you were coming on. What to expect as a single gay man moving to Sal Miguel? Is that how we say
Oh,
it?
yeah. What
Yeah.
to expect? First,
Yeah. Especially since they wanted to, they're a single gay man born and raised in New York. I also don't currently speak Portuguese, but will have a year of language lessons before moving. So
Okay.
what can they expect based on, because I
Firstly,
knew you were coming on.
the first 1 year lessons that they will have is not enough.
Okay.
They'll get the basics. But okay, still, communication will be hard for them. They will manage to learn the language if they continue to speak it on the island and they don't speak in English. Well, they try and speak in Portuguese. Secondly, they have to find me. Thirdly, the Azores is not New York.
Love
It
her.
is so quiet. We do have Grinder, so he's gonna find
Oh,
something. We do have
hello.
Grinder. Yeah, so he's gonna find something, and he has to find me because I basically know all the gays on the island, so I have to introduce him.
By the way, when I first met Eleni, she called herself a gay man trapped in a woman's body, which I
Love it.
totally agree with her. And I just think, you're right. I mean, there's a whole census, the census that looks at where we're living right now, and it just did the recent census that said that gays are living more in the cities, not a surprise, and lesbians are moving more to rural areas. I would actually argue younger gays would probably be, because cities are so expensive, and when you really want to settle down, I don't think I could afford where I live right now if I tried to buy like where I'm living right now. I think I will eventually want to move to other areas. So with that in mind, you've said before that the Azores are not Ibiza. It's not a party place, but you can still have a party. Explain that.
Yeah. Our beaches are volcanic. We don't have enough sun to be called Ibiza because Ibiza is heat. We don't have that. This summer was extremely beautiful, extremely hot, but it was an exception because of climate change. Not an exception, it's climate change. It's not an exception,
Yeah.
it's coming. Maybe it's going to continue. We have a lot of gay expats coming, older men coming onto the island because it's safe. Financially, they can afford to buy a house. They don't need. There's not a lot of bars. That's why it's not Ibiza. Like this, there's not a lot of bars. just.
Yeah.
So the Azores is a place where it's friendly. If you find your group, and if you have an online job, you live a beautiful life because it's calm. But if you're looking for nightlife, going out, partying, it's not the Azores.
Okay.
Yeah. No, well stated. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of us are not looking for that. I mean, we want to have a good time. We want to have a cocktail and we want to have,
Oh yeah, you can have cocktails. We have cocktails. We have Grinder, and we have restaurants.
what else
and,
do you need,
What else
everybody?
do you
You can create
need?
your own
and I
party.
told you last time I can organize a drag queen.
Uh, and are there some good drag queens on the Azores?
Yes, they
Come
are.
on.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
See?
Fabulous.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of things off my list are getting checked off. So I think the Azores is my next destination. I'm
It
feeling
is.
like,
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Like, I'm not leaving. I have a house in Athens. I don't want to go back. It's chaos.
yeah.
Yeah,
No.
it's interesting when we look at our own, where we're from, but we find ourselves in a different place. You're Greek, but you learn Portuguese, and
Yes,
you're
I
now in the
speak three
Azores.
languages. Yeah, I speak Greek
Yeah,
also, and I speak Portuguese because I had to communicate.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
I
and you
love
know
it.
what? It's not about communication. It was not about me communicating. I understood faster than I spoke. I started
Yeah.
speaking later. My objective was I need to understand what the people are saying. So I understood faster than I started to communicate. And I wouldn't let the people speak to me in English, unless, of course, it was really important. I'd make
Yeah.
them speak to me in Portuguese. And I used to become offended if they tried to speak to me in English. Basically,
Oh, wow.
I have a friend, she's a psychiatrist. And I had an Easter dinner, and I had some friends from Chicago. At some stage, she started speaking to them in English, and I just looked at her. She's my friend for 15 years. And I turned around and said, you speak English? She said, yes. No, you speak English and you speak it well? She said, yes. Why didn't I know that? She said, because you never wanted to speak in English. It's like, okay.
Here we
There it is.
go.
I have a
No,
quick question for you. Oh, go ahead. We talked about two couples, one that is about to get married and one that just got married. I want to know what your advice is for couples that are looking to get married or have just recently gotten married.
what my advice is,
Yeah. What
well,
about having a harmonious marriage?
well, after two husbands, after I don't know how many years married, I've learned is sometimes you really have to be deaf.
Oh,
Yeah. You know what? Relationships in general, it's not about marriage. Marriage is just the official paper. What is marriage?
yeah.
It's basically you're connecting your legal stuff, your properties, your money, you're doing stuff like that. Marriage used to be in the past only for the rich. Why? It was the joining of properties and money. So when you're in a relationship, if you want the relationship to last, obviously you have to have boundaries. But guess what? Sometimes your partner is having a really bad day. And so are
Hmm.
you. Decide if you want to be deaf that day because just let them. It's not necessary always to answer and to ask them why they're treating you like that. They're having a bad day. We have bad moments. Don't judge a person from a bad day or a bad year. Look at them in general. You
Hmm.
understand? So what I've realized in relationships that the couples that succeed are the ones, not one plays it deaf, they both play it deaf. You understand? I give you
Hmm.
time out, you give me time out. It's time out, you
Ooh,
know? Yeah. But
so
I need that.
important
I
and
need that
so.
advice every single day, actually. Can you call me every day and give me that advice?
No, it's so true, but it gets
it's
easier
just
as you get older, Kodi. I've
Yeah.
noticed
yeah.
that with
It's
my
not only that,
relationships.
you know why it gets easier? Because you've gone through so much bull
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
you think, you choose your battles. I'm not going to fight over you because you're wearing that. I'll argue with you because you were rude to me or something serious, but I'm not going to argue with you because you wanted to eat your tomato salad and it was 5 minutes before we had to leave. You choose your battles.
Yeah.
Basically, you learn as you get older. There's certain things you will argue about, and there's certain things it's not worth arguing. Plus, as you're getting older, you've built your character. You're not afraid of saying no. And so the person who comes into your life, they start to push, and you say no. So you know your boundaries, and then you just decide time out. You really need time out from your partner sometimes. That could be just going out for coffee with friends, or just going out for coffee by yourself, or just taking a walk. Especially when things are heating up, just get out. Just don't answer in the moment, because how many times have we said things we really didn't mean because we were so extremely angry, or we were hungry, or we were tired, or we were so yeah. Well,
That's great
someone
advice.
irritated
It
us.
is. Yeah, it's great advice. I was going to just say, so, but also you part for me is recognizing that I'm getting hungry or I'm getting sleepy and then I'm getting snippy in this time. So maybe I just need to remove myself as well.
Yeah, I've learned in life you can't tell anyone to do anything. I can only
Ooh,
control what I
Absolutely.
do. I can only control what I do. So if
yes.
something happening, I can't control that person. It's just going to explode if I try to, because that person's feeling very vulnerable and irritated. So I can only control me. How do I control me? If I'm losing control, I get up and leave, or I shut up, or I do something else, or I count. I don't know. You find a solution what works for you. Get up and leave. Just go for a walk, go for a run. Running helps.
Really good. Cody's getting up and leaving as we're seeing right now, but that's okay.
I'm
Should we
staying. I'm
do the
here.
drama? Should we do the drama that we just the TikToker Cody
Oh, yeah.
that
Yes,
That was
let's
so
do
good.
it.
I
because
saw
so
it. I saw
so Eleni does weddings also as well, and she
I'm a
has
wedding planner too.
wedding, yes. And there was a recent TikToker gay wedding scandal that was jaw-dropping in many ways. Why? Because Nick, who goes, the TikToker Nick, aka Rants from the Shower, I guess he does this from the shower, had us kind of enthralled by a recent wedding that he went to. He said, I watched as the groom called his soon-to-be wife by the wrong name at a wedding. And he was invited essentially as a wedding plus one. He knew some of the people at the wedding, but he didn't know the bride and the groom. He said the name and identity of this person who was in attendance at the wedding was so he basically, when they got to the moment when they exchanged their vows, the groom, her name was Danielle, and when he said Blake. Am I right, Kodi?
Yes. Yes.
He
When he was
got it
saying his vows,
wrong.
he said Blake.
In which case, Danielle was flabbergasted, as you can imagine, and was like, oh my God. And ultimately, they didn't get married. She left him at the wedding. She left him there because, I mean, that's huge. Like, you're not going to say my name right. Blake was a real life person in the wedding party and scurried off. Blake was a man.
It was a guy.
And it was a guy, because I was thinking Blake Lively, y'all, and I'm thinking, maybe it was like another woman, and no, it was another man that was in his wedding party side. Ran off because he knew that it had something to do with him. Where do they stand now? Blake is still living with. Yeah, go ahead, Eleni.
But do you think really that she didn't know he was, if not bisexual?
Well, that's what Kodi said in our meeting. And I was like, exactly, how dare you say that? Because that's, people don't know. He probably professed his love. Why are you saying that?
You know what? A woman's instinct. Oh, come on. Everyone talks about women's instinct. Like, doesn't work when she doesn't want it, and it works only when she wants it. Like,
are we blaming
it.
her? Are we blaming her?
I'm not blaming her
for not knowing. I feel like when Kodi said it in our meeting, he was blaming her, and I was like,
you know,
why are you blaming the woman?
I'm not blaming the woman. I'm blaming both, because
Me either.
he was not. He was a coward, and he was not strong enough to say, you know what, I don't want to get married. It's not about her. It's about, you're not ready to get married. First of all, you have not accepted your sexuality. So there's a huge problem there. So she did him a favor.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, I think it worked out. And then, so by the way, there's a follow-up to the story. She is now with somebody new. I mean, I don't know what the time frame is that she managed to meet somebody, but he is still living with Blake. No word on whether they're in a relationship or not, but they are living together. But I mean, it's a huge problem within our queer nature to not just be authentic and real with yourself. I mean, you can't hold on to some of this stuff. Kodi, what were you going to say?
I just want to say, I want to tell everybody first, I was not blaming her. I think that this is, for me, it was looking like, from an outsider looking in, it looked to me like this is something that he has dealt with her about Blake. Like, there was something between the two of him and Blake that was not quite kosher. Something suspicious was going on, and he expressed that to her, and she was suspicious. So this is why Eleni and I are picking up on the fact that she knew that something wasn't
because
quite
she
right.
mentioned it. I knew it.
Yeah.
If you knew it, why are you there? I'm not judging her because she's a female. If it was a guy, I was like, why are you still there? Like, you're going to a marriage.
Thank you for that clarification, because I needed it. I was about to be like, why are you blaming her?
No, I'm not blaming her. She's the one that reacted. Her reaction. I'm talking about her reaction. Said, I knew it. She had her suspicions. You had suspicions, and you literally walked down the aisle. Why?
Well, this is my other hypothesis, because I need to know this whole story. Okay. For me, as again as an outsider looking in and not knowing these people at all, he went to her and told her that everything was going to be okay, that maybe they worked something out to where he could see Blake on the side, and then him saying Blake's name during the vows is what really is the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't know these people,
Absolutely.
but that's what it's looking like to me, because she obviously knew, to me, okay, and then there was a deal that was worked out. I don't know the terms of the deal, and then that him saying Blake, it was over.
That him saying Blake was his subconscious
Yeah.
explaining who he loves.
Hmm. Let me get my
Well,
tea, girl.
it brings up another question of when we meet the people that are right for us at a certain point. And we've all had relationships when we were younger and we thought this was the one and only. I certainly have, but I'm currently in a relationship now because I feel like I am ready, and like you were getting all of me, and I'm still a work in progress. But is there something to be said about age and where we are at in life, knowing that men tend to mature later than women? We'll start
Mm.
with Eleni.
I've learned in life that if you don't accept who you are and you don't love yourself with your faults, no one else will. The problem in our society is we expect other people to love us how we want to be loved because we don't love ourselves that much. So we're looking for love and recognition and everything outside of us. As you get older, you realize you accept yourself more, and that's why relationships are better. As we're younger, unless, of course, you come from a healthy family where you've
Mhm.
been taught to love yourself and accept yourself, because it's not about loving yourself only, it's about accepting yourself no matter what. It's not about accepting only your sexuality, it's accepting who you are. Someone said to me, "Oh, I was at the gym and these guys look fantastic." And I said, "And you are amazing in content creating. These guys are not." So everyone is amazing in something. So accepting yourself and accepting who you are and trying to improve yourself if you want to, if that's what you want to, in areas that you want, then you will have a healthy relationship. The problem is people are looking outside of them and not inside them.
And Eleni, that speaks to me so much because I've always been a sensitive person and I used to react more. Now I still accept my sensitivity, but now when somebody says something, I let it roll off of me. I hear it and I'm able to respond in a more mature manner and not like they're attacking me. I still have my moments, don't get me wrong, but it's not like everyone's attacking me. It's actually I know how to respond better and my relationships are more fruitful.
I can use an example for that. You have two dogs. I'm not saying you're a dog, but have two dogs. You have a
I'm kind of
Chihuahua.
a DAWG sometimes, but yeah,
You have a Chihuahua and
a
you have a
dog.
Great Dane. What's the difference between a Great Dane and a Chihuahua? A Great Dane knows its power. It
Mm.
doesn't bark. When it barks, you stand still. A Chihuahua is always screaming, blah, 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 blah. So
Yep,
decide
yep.
what you are, a
Big
Chihuahua or
power.
a Great Dane. Know your power. Know who you are. How do you get to know yourself? Accept yourself. No one is perfect. Perfect. Even Martha Stewart went to prison. Who who we
Perfect.
all
Yeah.
assume is, you know, everyone. As a makeup artist, I also used to do makeup. When you look at a person's face, or a woman's face, a man's face, and you need to do makeup, you look at it and you decide what is their best features and you enhance the best feature. You don't try to hide anything, their
I
faults. You
love
just
that.
attract what is good. You just show, you
Wow.
enhance what is good. That's what a good makeup artist does. That is what is life. That is what is your personality. You are good in what? Enhance that. And all your faults will be seen, but will be so light compared to the beauty that you're showing that they just pass unnoticed.
Love
Eleni,
it.
that is
Cody.
gorgeous. I am in love with that. I don't even know what to say after that. I totally agree with you that as you get older, you accept yourself more. I feel like you learn who you are more as well. So I think that that is a huge component as well. So and you've done the things that you know you like, and you test the things that you know that you don't like. And I think as you get older, you fall into this groove of who you're able to vibe with and who you're not able to vibe with. So yeah,
Love it.
I think that's where it lies.
Before, because we
We,
have just a few minutes,
yeah, I think
I
we also
want,
have to surround, sorry, Steve, I think we also
yeah,
have to really start to select who we hang around with because
yes.
the my culture usually says, show me who your friends and I'll tell you who you are. And the truth
Mm,
is, your friends, if they're assholes, well, I think you're an asshole too. Because you hang around with people that represent you. So if you want to better yourself, better the people around you. How?
Mhm.
By being around people who make you be better. A better you, not a better person, a better you, a better yesterday
Yeah.
you. But today, a better you from yesterday. So if you are around people who are trying and achieving and who encourage you, you'll for sure shine.
well stated. We
Amazing.
want to definitely mention, okay, how can people, I noticed you have a website now, Glam Azores. Should we go to the website and
Yes,
tell us every way we can follow you?
www.glamazores.com. They can find me there, or no, they can always find me on glamazores.com, on my Instagram, which is glamazores.com. And whoever's thinking of coming to the Azores can contact me and I can show them around and I can help them out and tell them do's and don'ts on this
I love
beautiful,
it.
magical island. It's very
I,
mystical.
I just knew when I met you, I knew there was a friendship that was just amazing that we explored and we
You're
continue to
sweet, Stephen.
explore.
Everyone likes
But
you.
yeah, but what I've learned is about, I didn't know about the Azores, and I want to thank you so much. And it means so much that you
Yeah,
are sharing so much,
thank you.
and you have so much wisdom that is innate with your life experience. And I really do believe you are a gay man trapped in a woman's body. But even if you weren't, we have learned from you so much, and you are
I
my
am.
friend.
I'm a
And
gay man trapped in a woman's body. I love the
yeah,
woman's body, um, but I do understand gay men.
I love it, and thank you so
Thank you.
much. Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. We'll list everything. The show comes out tomorrow, and it recorded this time, so it will be out tomorrow. I know we tried this before,
It doesn't
and
matter. It's
yeah,
cool. It's cool. It's
that's why
cool.
I love you so much. And you're my friend of
Thank you, Steve. You're
2024.
beautiful.
Thank you so much. You are
Thank you,
very
Kodi.
beautiful.
You guys
Thank
are
you.
amazing.
You're
And
amazing.
thank you. Everyone in the queer community is different. Everyone. As us straight people, you know, the thing you said about those shirts and someone saying how it's a bad representation. The
Sure.
slutty women, do they represent all women?
Thank
There's,
you.
there's dumb women, do they represent all women? No.
No, but
Let
they're
everyone is who
them.
they are. You know, they because I've heard gay men are promiscuous. No, they just have a lot of testosterone. So do
Yeah, yeah.
straight men. So it's just
Own
accept
it.
people. Stop judging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah.
everybody is the same. So
No, everyone's different. Totally different.
everyone's different.
Why would you like why? You're unique. Why would you want to be something else or someone else? Just be
Oh,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's what I think we have to do. Be kind and just let people be them. If everyone was more authentic, this world would be a better place.
well, on that note, amazing. We want to thank you, Eleni, so much. We will list everything on where you can follow Glam Azores.
Glamorous, making
Yeah,
people's lives better and finding love in the middle of the Atlantic. If
thank
not
you
with
so
someone
much.
else, loving yourself.
Hey, love that.
Right. We're going to say goodbye to you now, but we will be in touch,
Ciao.
of course. Big
Ciao.
kiss.
Ciao, ciao.
Yes. Ciao, ciao. Oh my God, Kodi,
Yeah.
amazing. You
So much
know,
fun.
we
She's
will
so
list
wise.
all of this on the site, reference episode 597. You know, you can follow my co host. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching on Instagram, or follow him on his personal account at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on the gram. I am underscore Steve V. Also, follow me on my Twitter account at TAGSPodcast, where you get a preview of my OnlyFans and Just for Fans. And I know I mentioned something about my boyfriend, and that might come up there soon. Sorry, Diego. In the meantime, continue having hot,
Hot,
gay,
gay,